Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have never seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends like to give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be another game, and that game is Lost Soul Aside. My name is Anthony Ragucci, and here to discuss with me, as always, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
Gooch, I'm ready to find your soul because it's been lost.
Yeah.
Soul aside.
I wish the game... Yeah, sure.
I'm just going with it, you know.
Yeah, you're just going with it. So another review. We're doing 3 of these. This is our second one where one person has played it and the other is not.
You can tell by our attire.
Yeah, I played Lost Soul Aside. I think this came out right as Chronos came out. Probably like the same week, that end of August era where Delta, Chronos, and this came out. And... yeah.
So, Gooch, hold on. Before you get into it.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you know about this game?
This game? I have no idea. What is it, like a third... yeah, please, go ahead.
It is a third-person action game. And it has a bit of a background. And I want to give a little bit of that background because I think it informs on what the game ends up becoming to be. So, I remember first hearing about this game in like 2015 or 2016. I was in college. The project began in about 2014 as a one-man effort by a Chinese developer named Yang Bing, who at the time was a graduate student in South Korea. This game is very inspired by Devil May Cry, Final Fantasy 15, Bayonetta. The main character, Kaiser, kind of looks a lot like Noctis from 15. You can tell this game is really informed by like action games, action RPGs of that like 2014 to 2016 sort of time frame.
So aside from the inspiration, this is a new IP.
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah. It's made in Unreal 4, and what ended up happening is Sony enters the picture. They see this project, and I'm sure you've heard of the China Hero Project.
Yes,
there's
absolutely.
Indie Hero Project. There's different sort of projects where Sony sort of picks up really small developers and basically funds them.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened. Sony sees this project. They become a part of the China Hero Project. It's in the beginning. You can it's like labeled as that in the sort of like when you start the game up.
Right.
And they basically founded a studio called Alta Zero Games in 2017. And that's when like the full scale development of this game actually began. So whatever it was in those early iterations is sort of like not what it ends up becoming, but like, again, 2017.
That is wild.
That was a long time ago.
That is.
So it had a over decade development cycle, and it's still on Unreal Engine 4. It's not on a newer engine, and then it ended up launching in 2025. Sony announced that it was a part of their project in 2022. So it's just been sort of a roller coaster of development for this game. I'm not going to lie. And I think that really shows in this game. I think I have never experienced or played a game where between hour-long sessions, 1 to 2 hours, I oscillated between like a 3 and a 4 and a 7.
Yeah.
Like the quality of each session would be like, wow, I'm not looking forward to playing Lost Soul Aside.
So was that because
that last session sucked?
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, this is pretty good. It's clicking. Something. I'm farther into the game. I got more weapons. It's the combat. It's pretty good. What were you about to say?
I was going to say, like, is that a product of the gameplay or the story?
Everything.
It just was kind of an overarching.
It is very mediocre in terms of the story, the performances, the voice acting, the animations, the sound.
Right.
And the score are all very mediocre.
Sure.
It seems where this game shines, what you're playing this game for, is the gameplay, which I think is pretty good. That's where the 7 sort of comes in.
Okay.
But the game sort of starts off, you play as a character named Kaiser, and he and his orphaned sister are living in this empire where, of course, Trio, the empire, is oppressing the smaller folk. He is in a resistance called Glimmer, and that's an acronym. What that acronym means, not really sure.
Sure.
But Kaiser and his sister are involved in some sort of resistance. They have a plan to sort of sabotage this festival that's going on, this parade that's for the Empire. They end up doing that, and things sort of go awry. And Kaiser finds himself in this underground lab where he meets this Voidrax, which is sort of this like alien enemy that you're fighting, this Voidrax god named Arena, and he's this sort of floating dragon you've probably seen, maybe if you've seen any gameplay or on the box art. And Arena is basically where the powers come from, and you guys are sort of like fused together, reluctant, like sort of we got to work together. We don't like each other. They end up sort of growing to like each other. But that's where the game takes off. And I think the story is just sort of like Kaiser needs to go and like find this energy and like get more powerful to fight the bad guy. It doesn't matter. The performances are bad. Like it just seems like everything in regards to the story was kind of phoned in. I don't give a shit. It's hard for me to care. You know me. I try to care, but like I was really just like none of this is winning me over.
Not clicking with you.
It's got an anime aesthetic too, so it sort of falls in that category of Asia slop, but it's not really. There is a level that is Asia slop. It's like I'm like, oh, okay, here's the pagodas and the Chinese buildings, and it sort of reminds me of Sekiro.
Right.
And like there are like ninjas, and it's like, oh, okay, great.
I see what you're doing, right?
Yeah. So yeah, in the beginning, you know, it's an action game, so you have different weapons. You start with a sword, you get a great sword, then you get a scythe, and then you get like a pole arm. Once I had all the weapons, I feel like the combat really, really shines. And you're able to do all sorts of cool and different things. But like in the beginning, it's like, wow, this sword is like kind of boring.
Kind of stupid. Yeah. So is it kind of like a Yote situation where certain weapons are better for certain enemies? Or is it like you can kind of just choose which weapon you want to kind of really sink in your teeth into?
The weapon style sort of just informs your attacks. The enemies... There's a good amount of enemies. They're all, I think at the end of the day, they're kind of boring. Like they're not like, it's not like you face one enemy and I have to use the scythe to defeat this guy.
Right.
No, it's more like they just do different things. And at the same time, I think the combat doesn't lie within its fun to kill these enemies. It's just fun to do like combos and kill enemies fast.
Right.
That's the kind of action game it is. It's less of a puzzle, more like, I want to throw myself into these boss battles and these fights and sort of just tear this guy up. And that's where it's fun. I actually had fun in post game. There's like a boss rush and sort of like an arena.
Right.
And I had the most fun when I was just mindlessly listening to a podcast and kind of throwing myself at these challenges, because it's all gameplay.
It's all gameplay, right? Yeah.
But the levels and the structure of the levels and the story, like, I don't love it. I think the environments look really good.
Sure. It's just not hooking you in the way you're hoping.
Skybox, but like again, like I've never been so hooked and unhooked between like 1 or 2 sessions.
It's weird.
The game is not consistent in quality at all, and I would not recommend anyone get this game.
Even at like a cheap price.
I think it's worth like $5 or $10.
How much did it cost?
$50.
Okay.
So, and again, I sort of was like, I was kind of just like interested to be like, I remember like seeing this game all those years ago in college, and I sort of just wanted to, again, like it's one of those times where I just sort of like take a risk and buy a game, and I was sort of like, I knew what it was, and I was just sort of like not looking into things. Like I was kind of convinced,
right,
like years ago, and I've sort of just let that vibe be like, oh, I'm gonna get this game when it comes out. Like this is cool. I know it was like a solo dev, and now it's being picked up by Sony. That's awesome. But it fell into a problem where 10 years of development really shows about what this game turned out to be, and it's not really great. Right. One thing I will give to the developers, it got updates upon updates. They were making improvements. I think there have been like 9 or 10 patches.
Oh wow!
Or more.
So they're going hard on it. Yeah.
Yeah, they've been updating it, but like,
and are those just like quality of life stuff? I'm sorry to interrupt.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm balancing and things like that. Like one of the first things that was glaringly noticed, and I'm doing the combat, and I'm like, what about this isn't clicking? The sound effects, the weapon noises, dink. dink, dink, dink.
Just no satisfaction. Yeah.
Nothing.
Mm.
And I just felt kind of bored. So like it was kind of a slog to get through, and I have to beat it. I'm in the middle of a new game plus. I haven't played it in a few weeks, honestly. I was kind of thinking about playing it last night, but it really, I kind of was like, I feel like I really got to force myself to want to play this, and I don't really want to right now. Like
and you're just getting back to for the chivies or the pro
yeah,
trophies,
I want to finish out the trophies, and the game, like, it starts you off on like a normal difficulty, and beating the game unlocks the next two. And I don't really like that because I'm like, so you're forcing me to play this game 3 times because both difficulties are hidden behind New Game Plus. I'm fine with like the 1 difficulty doing that, but 2, I feel like that's kind of like extreme.
Like, what are we doing? Yeah, that is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's cool to go into New Game Plus and I'm at the beginning of the game with like all the weapons and I'm sort of tearing through people, but like I don't think this game needs to be challenging. It definitely is at times. Some of the bosses are pretty fun and are pretty challenging, and they do look pretty cool. But like there's always something else kind of like dragging it down, like the sound effects,
right?
Or even the sound effects where like, I don't know, you're in a fight and it switches phases, and you know the boss is like picks you up, throws you around, does something cool. It looks cool, don't sound cool,
right?
Like
right.
there's I'm like,
and
this,
you need that to sell it.
Yeah,
you do. That's
yeah,
like that's like sound is one of those things that you just like you don't notice it's not there until it's not there.
Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, it's like doing a recipe. Like if you know, I know you can kind of, especially with like baking.
Sure.
Like you can cook something and you can kind of fudge how much time or salt is in things to preference. But when you're baking, like those things really need to be exact. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there is like, they're baking a cake and it's like almost they like forgot like the flour or like the eggs, like key components to an action game. I'm not going to pretend like I'm a big fan of Devil May Cry or Bayonetta or action games like that, but I do like my action games here and there.
Yeah.
I do like the genre. It's just not one I spend a lot of time doing. But, you know, I know when I'm going to play a Devil May Cry, I know that gameplay is going to be really satisfying. Yeah. Like I almost know it. And going into this game, again, it has its moments, but those moments are just drugged down into the bottom of the sea by some long developments and things that sort of were left forgotten, sort of like the lore of the game. Yeah, there's codexes, and I'm just uninterested.
Who cares?
Right? I don't care.
Yeah.
Like some of the the character designs are sort of like anime slop looking, not Kaiser. I mean, Kaiser is kind of anime slop. Most of the characters are kind of anime slop looking.
Right.
But like, I don't mind the main character. I think he looks good. You get a few outfits for him. But everyone else, I'm like, what are these names? And like,
what are you wearing?
There's a lot of banter between, again, it's kind of like the Forspoken problem where like that main character and the gauntlet thing are talking a bunch. Arena and Kaiser are constantly talking, and it's like, shut the fuck up, both of you. You both sound stupid. Stop saying Voidrax. Stop saying these terms.
No one believes you.
They're like they're like really expositing about things too much. There's not a lot of cutscenes, and when they do happen, you know, they look fine again, but like
Are they not walking you through the Death Stranding to your liking, Gooch? What's going
on? And the story kind of takes some twists and turns. I don't think I expected it to end where it is.
Right.
But like, again, it's ultimately kind of uninteresting.
So is the story like a revenge plot? Like, is there like...
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Like, I forgot.
Like, so his sister gets her like soul sucked out of her, with lost soul aside, by this Voidrax thing.
Okay.
And so the idea is Kaiser's going on a journey to get her soul back, and he's got a lot of detours and paths he's got to take.
Right.
That's really the main story. There's like, you kind of work with the Empire, and then spoilers, the Empire sort of turns against you, and characters who thought you were enemies are sort of your friends. But again, none of these characters, none of these beats are really all that interesting or the reason why you're there.
Yeah.
You're there for the gameplay. And there is trees for your weapons, which are just like any other game. There are a bunch of Arena has abilities that you can swap in and out that can sort of change up gameplay.
Right.
You can get defensive ones, offensive ones, utility. They're good. You know, the gameplay, again, is fine. I think what's there kind of serves everything pretty well. One thing that this game does that I've never seen any other game do, and I kind of need to give it props because it's pretty cool. So you get weapons and you can put sort of accessories on weapons. You all right there?
Yeah, sorry, got a bad itch. My bad.
Yeah,
Continue.
yeah. I was like, what is that face? You can get sort of accessories to put on your weapons. And in a bit of a janky fashion, you can actually put the accessory on your weapon.
Huh.
And like, you can see it, but like, are you seeing it in battle? Not really. But it's pretty cool that like, oh, you have this thing. And again, not all these accessories that do, more damage or more whatever, give you more energy, look necessarily cohesive with the weapon, and oftentimes look kind of goofy.
Like out of place, yeah.
Yeah. But it's pretty interesting that they're letting you sort of customize the weapons in this unique way that I've never seen before.
Yeah.
That
kind of it.
That's kind of it.
Yeah, no, listen.
Like
it sounds like an interesting enough game. Sadly, it just seems like it was not in the price point that would have made it feel a bit more satisfying. But also, I don't know. So is the combat more, like you're saying, it's more Devil May Cry than a Dark Souls? It's like it's not as weighty. It's more like frenetic, I would assume.
Yeah. You're fighting on the ground. You can throw people up in the air,
right.
Do some damage, come back down. Again, the gameplay and the combos, it's there. I mean, it sometimes it doesn't always feel great, but it is there. And again, the game, if there's anything to positively to say about it, to put it simply, the combat is pretty cool, or it gets pretty cool.
Sounds like, so the mashed potatoes are pretty great, but the turkey and the green beans could use some work.
Yeah.
Understandable.
Yeah. And I think you just got to wait for a sale for this one.
That makes sense.
If you're really interested, like, I would not recommend paying full price for this. And I think this is a casualty of weird development. Starting a project solo, and you're clearly like building this AAA inspired game that maybe you have no right to actually be building, and then Sony comes in and, I don't know if they changed it necessarily, but again, it seems like the long development really killed this game. It feels like a game from that era of like 2014 to 2016. The characters
like
feel like
time, yeah.
Final Fantasy 15 characters, clearly very inspired by that. No holding that back, no hiding that. It just feels like a game from that era that came out in 2025. And I don't think that's great. I think there are games that hold up from that era, like sort of like maybe like Dishonored or maybe Final Fantasy 15 that feel good because they have this AAA polish and things like that. But this game
just not quite
doesn't have that polish at all. It's very like it's got dirt all over it. It's rusty, and there's something to like there, but like you really got to look past the shit and the grime.
Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, I'm glad to hear that you at least got some enjoyment out of it. And there are bright spots, but I mean, of course, you spent $50. You want to get, that satisfying experience out of it. It sucks too, because like we're saying, we just talked about Chronos. It's nice to see new IPs. I'll give people a lot of credit for really trying to get out there and do that, but it's unfortunate when you can't kind of hit it the way you want to.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that it's a new IP and the new IP is beyond uninteresting, right? I mean, that's sort of inevitably going to happen. It's sort of like, it's like a sort of like this author writing a fantasy book that just sort of goes nowhere. Like, I have no interest in this world or these characters.
There's nothing hooking me.
Right. I don't know.
The lore isn't hooking me. The character itself isn't hooking me.
Yeah, the aesthetics, the looks. Okay, I think there's something interesting there. You can kind of, I don't know if I mentioned this. I thought about it. You can swap outfits.
Oh, gotcha.
And stuff like that. Yeah. So what's cool is, I guess Kaiser's main look changed from his original iteration, and one of the pre-order bonuses was like you get his original outfit, which I thought was cool. Which I used most of the game actually. I was just like, oh yeah, I think this kind of looks cooler, but yeah, I don't know. It feels like a less than AA kind of game.
Oh wow!
But it definitely feels like AA. It's got some like AAA sheen, but again, it's not hiding this AA sort of indie aspect to it, which I guess is kind of the point though, right? Like it's the China Hero project. It's this game that is an indie game that's getting a facelift from a AAA publisher like Sony.
Yeah, and that's what that is there for. So I guess they're accomplishing that mission in that regard.
And I finished the game. I'm in New Game Plus. I'm sure a lot of people who review this game, play this game, didn't get as far as me. So maybe I should have led with that. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you've actually played this game, beat this game, were interested in this game, know about this game, anything about this game. Because when I was looking on YouTube to look some strategies up for these boss rushes or these arenas that I was stuck on, wasn't a lot of content. So to me, I don't necessarily, I'm sure the game sold low, but the fact that there's not a lot of content on it also shows a lot. I guess there's just not a lot of people playing. I didn't look up reviews. I'm sure there are a lot of people who played this game, previewed this game, did a review on the first few hours of it, but yeah, I did beat this game, so I've seen a lot of this game, and I will see more of this game, much to my dismay, just to get the platinum, which will probably take me longer than I want, because this was a game that I kind of just wanted to breeze through the New Game Plus and just get off my plate, but it's the mashed potatoes have adhered to the plate.
You need to get them off. Yeah, that's funny. Man. Oh,
but that's it, man.
Awesome. Well, hey, man, I'm glad you at least got some enjoyment out of it. I'm sorry to hear that it wasn't knocked out of the park, but I'm glad you all could join us here today on live. You said on live.
Yeah,
that's what threw me off.
Yeah.
Live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really do appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on your service of choice. We got a Facebook page, a Discord channel. All that good stuff will be linked down below. We're at Delco Nerds on everything with an @sign. You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We're happy to get back to you. But for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy. We will see you next time.